What's up with you today, 49ers faithful? Drew Kerr here, host of 49ers Sports Talk. Today in episode 3, I'm going to be going over 5 of the top reasons I do not believe Trey Lance will start in 2023, barring injuries to any of the others. Please stay tuned as we kick off episode 3 here on 49ers Sports Talk. Enjoy. Faithful. So before we get into this, I just want to preface this by saying I'm by no means a Trey Lance hater. I don't wish him bad in his career. I hope that he flourishes and I hope that he comes alive. I just don't think that he has what it takes right now to be a starter in the NFL. It doesn't mean that he won't get there. I think that when he was drafted, I was really excited. There was a lot of potential there, but he was really green. He did not have a ton of experience, which is my number one reason why he will not start this year. I do have, I've broken it down by quarter. So Sam Darnold has played since his first snap at USC, he has played 284 quarters of football combined to present day. So that makes him, he's had the most experience out of any quarterback on the roster. That doesn't mean that he's the best candidate for the job, but he does have the most experience out of anybody here. Not years-wise in the NFL, that would be Brandon Allen, but we're just speaking solely on quarters of football. Brock Purdy is second. He had 4 years at Iowa State. He played 220 quarters of football from the time he took his first snap at Iowa State on the field to last year when he got nuked in the championship game. Brandon Allen is third with 204 quarters of football combined from college at Arkansas to present day. This is combined with NFL experience, college to NFL experience. And last is Trey Lance, who only has 97 quarters of football played since taking his first snap at North Dakota State. That's not even half of any of the other guys. The disparity in the competition, even at the college level in comparison to what the other quarterbacks face, was a little bit lesser than. And that is my reason number one, is just the simple lack of experience. Reason number 2, he has a different skill set than the other 3 quarterbacks. I don't know if anybody else picked up on this, but the offense does look different with Trey Lance in the game. So he does need a tailor-made offense to suit his skill set to make him the most effective that he can be. I think Kyle hides a lot of his flaws with a lot of boots and rollouts and quarterback runs. The other quarterbacks more make it up. If you know there's an off-schedule play, they kind of make that difference up. Those are not plays that are designed for them. Trey Lance has had plays designed specifically for him to be able to run because that's one of the things he's good at. But if you look at the contrast between all 4 quarterbacks on the team, the other 3 are very similar, and Trey is sort of the odd man out. He just doesn't look as comfortable in the pocket as the other 3. Granted, Sam Darnold has had some problems just because he's not had the best offensive lines in his career up to this point. So he is a little shell-shocked from that. And I think it's going to take some big mental strides for him to get over that. But that being said, the 49ers offensive line is a lot better than anything that he's ever had in his career, especially the blind side. He knows that Trent Williams, he's going to figure out that Trent Williams has his back and that he's not going to get hit very much from that side, which is not the case when he was with the Jets, which is not the case when he was with the Panthers. And so same thing with Brandon Allen in Cincinnati. He had pocket presence, and same with Brock Purdy, as we saw last year. So that is my reason number 2, is that he just has a different skill set than the others. Reason number 3 is that he's still tradable. With the offseason just beginning, there's a chance of injuries with other teams. We see it every season where somebody blows out an ACL in training camp, or somebody does this or does that, or they're going to be out for 6 or 7 games, and so we see this every single year. You can go back to every single season and point to some key player, whether it's quarterback, running back, there's a lot of different positions, but it does happen with quarterbacks too. They're protected a little bit more in camp, of course, but preseason it could happen. And it kind of seems like every year that happens. There's other teams too that are still kind of quarterback thirsty. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I saw a comment that was actually pretty funny. I can't recall who it was. It might have been on Good Morning Football or one of those. But somebody said that Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask were thrown against air, and air was winning. So it's not looking too bright post Tom Brady over in Tampa Bay. He could be a trade candidate there if they're starting to look at each other going like, what do we do now? And so there's also, I brought this up a couple times already, Jimmy G did not pass his physical. He'll have one more chance to pass his physical in Las Vegas. If he doesn't, they can void the contract. So that could make it the Las Vegas Raiders, an appealing place for Trey Lance to go and start. He might not have his opportunity here with Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, and Brandon Allen. And actually, I'm just going to, while on the subject of Brandon Allen, it's kind of interesting that they would bring in a veteran presence like that as a third quarterback. They're not, it's just interesting, So that being said, reason number 3 is that Trey Lance is still tradable. Reason number 4, guys, is back-to-back season injuries. That's going to breed a lack of trust to go the distance to the coaching staff. Not that it's all his fault in all of those scenarios, but if you can't stay healthy, whether it's a leg or a finger, that in turn will create some questions and concerns. Yes, the same could be said for Brock Purdy. However, he did run the table and was one single game away from the Super Bowl. That combined with all of his college experience and everything that could be said with his standing in the locker room, that part is not looking great for Trey Lance. And reason number 5, guys, I think this one's the most obvious reason, Brock Purdy. He ran the table. He did not look back all the way up to the very first drive of the NFC Championship game. Brock does have the trust of the rest of the team to get the job done. He has more on-field confidence and moxie, and I think this is shown with the fist pumps, the just getting jacked up with the guys, than any of the other quarterbacks on the roster. We haven't seen that with Darnold, Brandon Allen. We haven't seen it with Trey Lance. We saw it a little bit with Trey Lance. He hasn't really had the chance, but Brock Purdy has earned this locker room's trust. If he can bounce back and show that he is just as good as he was for the, time that he played last year, then that is going to go a long way. If he's starting week 1, whether he wins or loses, it doesn't matter. On the road against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh hasn't had a home game in something like 8 or 9 seasons, or home opener in 8 or 9 seasons, so they're going to be jacked up. I actually don't expect to win that game, no matter how good we are on paper. It's going to be a really tough one in Pittsburgh. We could, and I could be wrong here, that's just going to be a really hard game. It doesn't matter who's behind center. We could have Patrick Mahomes, and I don't think, well, if we had Patrick Mahomes, we probably have a pretty good shot. But I just think it's going to be really hard in Pittsburgh. Rehab's going very well and for Purdy, and he is ahead of schedule. He started early, and he continued to throw on his second day. And the biggest thing is that John Lynch said he is the leader in the clubhouse. The quarterback is the top position. Brock Purdy is the top position, and he has the support of the locker room. That is number 5. That is the biggest reason that Trey Lance will not start in 2023, barring any injuries, is Brock Purdy. I do have one bonus reason. The bonus reason is fixed mechanics. Yes, he went and worked out with Jeff Christensen and got together with Patrick Mahomes to pick his brain. While I think that was a great use of his time in the offseason, it does not mean that when the bullets are flying for real, that he will not revert back to his previous mechanics, because that's what feels natural to him. We did see this with Tim Tebow a while back. his mechanics are nowhere near as bad as Tim Tebow. But we did see it with other quarterbacks who have tried to just in one season fix their mechanics. It's a process. Tom Brady, arguably the GOAT, probably is a GOAT. I got to let go. I want to say Joe Montana all the time, but, Tom Brady, as much as I don't like the guy, and that'll be a story for another time, but it was a progression from him for a very long time. This isn't going to happen overnight with Trey Lance. So he has been throwing a certain way his entire life, and we're going to see very shortly how he looks when the bullets are flying for real. I truly do appreciate you if you've watched this far. Please subscribe and like the video, and we'll see you guys next time on episode 4 of 49er Sports Talk.